Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Courtney Green, and with me tonight is Nick Stonesifer, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Collegian. Thank you so much for being here tonight. How are you?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Okay, so we're from the same hometown. I'm from Virginia. You're from Maryland. What made you come up to Penn State?
It was a really big school. There was a lot of people. Where I'm from, it's a bit smaller town. It's still closer big area, like Nova, Virginia area, but it's still a bit of a smaller town. I knew all the same people. All the people going to UMD were people I knew going to high school. So it's good for me to get out of town, but also this is a really good school with a lot of good programs. I didn't really know 100% what I wanted to do right away, so it was a good place for me to figure that out.
So what does the editor-in-chief do at the Daily Collegian, and can you explain to our audience what makes the Daily Collegian a standout paper on campus? I mean, I see it everywhere.
Well, what don't I do day to day? There's a lot. Let's see. Right away, I come in and it's just I get a lot of emails day to day. Most of it's spam, which is good, but answering emails, talking to people that have questions about articles, a lot of managerial stuff, getting people and our staff, letting them know what they got to do day to day, week to week, stuff like that. Just going out and chatting with them. There's a lot of us there day to day here in the Willard building. So, and then, what makes it such a standout paper, I think it's really it's the people that want to be here every day and really grind it out, to get really good stories, to really do the best coverage that they think they can do. And, it's a bit my job to facilitate the best versions of themselves. I like to think about it that way, push them to be the best.
So what publications have really stood out to you this year as well as in the past?
There's so much. Everybody from all our different staffs always does such a great job and specific stuff. Day-to-day beat coverage is always great. Our news staff is always just, on top of it. Our lifestyle and entertainment beats are always just coming up with fun, creative stuff to engage the younger audience. Just so much. Big football season this season, a lot of expectations behind that, but so there's so much. There's so much that I can't catch it all.
Outside of that, what was kind of pivotal to your experience being here at Penn State in wanting you to take on that position and kind of growing you as a journalist?
Yeah, I've been with the Collegian since I was a freshman. You're a senior too. We were that first really group back on campus after COVID, and getting involved right away was something that really was important to me. And, it was I'll never forget it. My mom just pulled out a Collegian off the street and was like, "You should do this." I was like, "What?" She was like, "Well, you said you want to do journalism, so you can do that."
Yeah.
So, I got involved, and it was a big family. Right away, I just really was bought in, especially when you have nothing to do but sit in your dorm or go write stories.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of me, just wanted to do the most for this place.
That's awesome. What do you think was the coolest story that you covered?
I definitely think one of my favorite stories that I covered for the Collegian was, I wouldn't say it was the coolest, but it was one of the most ones I'm proud of was, if you know Zara Moss and her story. She was a former fencer here at Penn State, and she recently sued the university and her former head coach, for, allegations of different kinds of abuse and Title IX violations. And, earlier on, there was all the breaking news coverage going on surrounding that, but we at the Collegian did one really good in-depth piece that I wrote, and it was it was just really great to hear her story that she was willing to share with me, learn more about the program, and then that was I don't know if it's true now, given it's been a year since the story was written, but it's one of Penn State's most successful athletic programs. It's a secret superstar of the athletics department, and it has all this stuff bubbling under the surface.
Yeah, that's great that you were able to uncover that. If a younger journalist came up to you and asked you for a story idea, where would you kind of guide them for pitches?
I'd just say go with your gut. Go out in the world. The story, you got to find the story. A lot of the times the story isn't going to find you, so you got to go out there. You got to talk to people. You got to learn about the ecosystem that you're in, how things work is a big thing, and exposing when things are not being done correctly is, a big part of what we do is journalists and watchdogs. So figure out, where you're at, figure out what does and doesn't need to be done and see if it's being done.
Gotcha. So you definitely want to go into print journalism when you graduate, or are you kind of looking all over?
Yeah, print is I don't know. I just say journalism now because print is a different kind of medium. I just want to I just want to write. I just want to do stuff for publications. you know, I used to run a podcast, so like any kind of journalism that is like fun is what I like to do.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about your podcast. I know it's called The Wraparound.
Yes.
You said you were done doing it for now. Can you tell us like a little bit about it and kind of what got you into it?
Yeah, I mean, a buddy and I from the Collegian, like earlier on when I was still reporting, we started this podcast, and yeah, I mean, just like we birthed it. It was like a sit-down regular format to start, but then we moved it out to the street into a video format, and it kind of turned into like a fun little interview segment we did.
Yeah. If any other podcast hosts are kind of looking to improve their content and potentially to a level where they also, like you were, be nominated for an award, what recommendations would you have for them?
Consistency was a big thing, you know, like there's days where it's like really difficult and like you don't want to do it, and it does feel like a chore at times just because you're struggling to figure out ideas, but like the days that we had no idea going into it were some of the days where we came up with some of the best ideas. It's like necessity is like the mother of ingenuity.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. I loved being able to meet you. And I really liked learning about your experience at the Collegian Journalism at Penn State. So now stay tuned because coming up next, Morgan and Caitlin will have the latest news from across the nation.